Greggatron. It's been a while since we've gone live. Yeah. I'm gonna hit some legs today. I haven't hit legs in like 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna do that and some core, maybe some other things. But I'm just gonna see where the spirit takes me. Alright. Alright. Yeah. So the last time I hit legs, what up, Jamie? What up, C-Sal? The last time I had legs, I did the barbell squats for 120 reps. So this time, and that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So this time I'm gonna focus more on leg press. What up, Jamie? Do a million jumping jacks. Do I look like Lupin the Third? If I was Lupin the Third, I might be able to do a million jumping jacks. But I can only do probably, I don't know, 100, 200. Yeah. But I hit you up in the comment section. I said it's the Jamie. No, I didn't. I said it's the Ethan Hawke show. That's what I said. It's the Ethan Hawke show. But I'm gonna warm up with just some barbell squats. I'll do between 10 and 20 or so. And I already stretched while I was in the house, so I should be good on stretching. But even though you stretch, you should still warm up. And even when I did do the barbell squat challenge, the 100 reps, I still did practice squats without anything, with no barbell. So even if you're training with light weight, warm up with even lighter weight or no weight. Yeah, you gotta get the body ready, you feel me? So let me start on this real quick. Yeah. Feels good. Yeah. Feels really good. The leg press machine is over there. But before I start on that, I'm gonna do some core. Because something tells me after I do leg press, I might be almost zapped out. So let me come over here. What's good, C-Sal? What is good? If you're on your phone, your husband's gonna walk by and say, "Is that sweaty guy again who you've been watching?" And then you're gonna be like, "Honey, it's Greggatron, remember?" Say it with me. It's Greggatron. Is that guy who's been giving you fitness advice? You're gonna be going to the gym, and then your husband's gonna be like, "Honey, you've been going to the gym an awful lot lately." And then she'll be like, "Yeah, I've been listening to Greggatron for a little bit." She's gonna come home, and then your husband's gonna be like, "I see a change in you. I don't know what it is." Even your kids are gonna be like, "Mom, you look different." C-Sal's gonna be like, "Yes, children, yes." Mom's been hitting the gym. Yeah. What up, Daniel? What's good with ya? How big is it? How big is what? Speaking of how big stuff is, I made a video right before I went live. What up, D Rhino 149? I made a video talking about a new sword I got. And that sword is almost 5 feet long, so stay tuned for that. It's already been recorded. I just gotta upload it. So that'll be before the day is over. But D Rhino, I just did some barbell squats as a warm up because I'm gonna do some leg press. But before I do that, I'm gonna hit some core. I was just making fun of Seasal because she said her husband was like, "Who's that sweaty guy you're watching?" And then I told her, "Just tell him, honey, it's Greggatron." So yeah, that's funny. Bear with me here. Yeah. Don't neglect your core. Don't neglect it. And since this barbell is right here, I'm going to try to reach my feet to it. Yeah. Yes. That's what we want. You free balling. Free balling. What's free balling? Is that when you train people and give people advice for free? I guess. I used to train people and I'd charge them. But when I started, I didn't charge anybody because I was like, I'm already in the gym doing it, so I might as well invite them over to train with me. Well, then people started calling off and making excuses. So I was like, man, I'm gonna train these people free balling where you ain't wearing underwear. What? No, man, I got on underwear. What the? What? I'm always wearing underwear. That's what free balling means. That must be a Gen Z term. I was talking to a lady yesterday, the day before, and she said something that sounded so. She said low. Somebody had said, "What's your low?" And I'm like, "Low? What's that?" She's like, "It means what's your location?" I'm like, "What?" I'm thinking she's saying, "What's your low?" Like, get low, get low, get low. No, she said low now means location. L-O, not L-O-W. I'm like, these people. So low means location. Like the Lou, that means St. Louis. And then free balling means you're wearing no draws, according to Daniel. So Daniel says, should work out in the underwear then. I would hope I have underwear on. I would definitely hope so. But yeah, so this is the leg press machine. Now that that's established, that Greggatron trains and draws, let's come over here. But shout out to Daniel. I was telling a coworker, it was about work-related stuff. I was like, if you need to know something, you just need to know it. don't think of it as a stupid question. So in this case, don't think of that as a stupid question. If someone really wants to know something like that, it's okay to ask. And if I don't want to tell you, I'll just say, hey, it's none of your business. But if it sounds like a stupid question, so be it. You know. Alright. And even though we just warmed up with the barbell, I'm still going to warm up with this with just 50 pounds. Just to get an additional warm up. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh. And press off like you're jumping. You got to get the body ready for what's to come. That was just 50 pounds. Nothing crazy, nothing too serious. I'm gonna go to 110 pounds. Still, nothing too out of control. Thank you. Appreciate it. I try. And the thing about legs, now that you said that, legs are something that's been neglected probably since the beginning of time. It's windy out here in the Midwest. But when men train, in many cases, when you go to the gym, when I did go to the gym, it'd be the YMCA, in different gyms. I always saw men hitting upper body, and women were always hitting their lower body. Because, you know, women want big butts and all this stuff, nice hips, childbearing hips, which is genetics, but women always focused on lower body, it seemed. Because women were doing a lot of squats when I was going to the gym, and all those different lower body movements. One of them looks sexual. The pelvis, whatever that thing is they do, it looks like they're humping the air. That's what the women do. They have the barbell on their pelvis and they lift it. I'm like, it looks like they're practicing like sex moves. Anyway, whenever I would see the men, it's like very few of them would be hitting legs. Now these guys all had, you know, big arms, shoulders, chest, back in many cases. But I see it in myself and others. Legs get neglected. So that's one reason why I got this apparatus. So I don't have to neglect legs anymore. And I told somebody weeks ago, I don't squat heavy when I'm at home because that bench that you saw earlier, that's not a squat rack. And the highest point it can get to is still too low. So it messes my back up when I do it. So if I do squat heavier, I'll do it with a squat rack at the gym, but not here. But still, I don't need to squat that heavy because that's just ego anyway. So that's why I just mess with this thing. If I squat here, I might go to 185, 225. But I'm not squatting 315 at home. I'm just not doing it. Whereas this thing, I can put wraps on my knees with this. And I can just pretty much go to town with this thing. So if you have space and money, I recommend you get some type of leg machine for your garage, your basement, or something. Or just get a gym membership. But this thing itself is like a tank. So I wouldn't recommend everybody gets this because it's freaking huge. I'll show you in a minute. I showed you guys this apparatus in my tour of this gym. I have a video that came out. Oh, hey, Terry. I have a video that came out months ago. It's called Greggatron's Home Gym Tour, something like that. So I showed you guys this, but even the guy who sold it to me, he considered it a beast. He's like, this thing is a beast. So I wouldn't recommend everybody has this in their house, but I doubt they even make these anymore. If they do, not like this. But somebody had sold it to him because they just didn't want it. And then fast forward, I bought it from the fitness store. So you want to have something in your house, something, even if it's just the bands. Daniel, can't forget what one? This? I can't read everything. Do you exercise your... Come on, man. What the... Why you gotta take it there? Jeez. First you're talking about draws, now you're talking about... Why can't we have a normal conversation? Alright, so Terry, you're just tuning in. I hit some barbell squats as a warm-up, and I hit some of these for the warm-up with 50 pounds, and I'm about to do 110 pounds. This guy, why is somebody in the chat always got to be like rated R or PG-13? You can ask Ethan Hawke and C-Sal. Everything was PG. Everything. It wasn't even PG, it was actually G. There's always that one person in the chat who makes everything, oh shit, never mind. It's all going to hell. Now it's Tar Baby Yoda. What up? Hey, we were talking about people making stuff into rated R stuff when it doesn't need to be. Well, now Tar Baby Yoda's here, so there goes any hope of being PG. So, good luck. Anyway, Terry, I gotta make you a mod too. Alright. This is 110. Alright. And keep your knees a little bit bent. Just a little bit. You don't want to lock your knees out. Because when they're locked out like that, they can get stuck like that. That's why they call it locked. And then it can be hard to bend them back. But you can actually shatter your knees when you do that. When you lock them out like this, don't do this. Keep them somewhat bent. Alright. That wasn't that bad either. Not bad. Tar Baby Yoda, what's good with ya? He says, stop it, it's Sunday. I gotta take advantage of my Sundays. Because I ain't trying to do this during the week. I work during the week, G. Yeah. I'm gonna bump it up to 210, and I might stop there and just go to failure. But first, we're gonna have an intermission. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. Yeah. Oh yeah. Always have some good water on deck. Temple maintenance. That's right, Tar Baby Yoda. Oh yeah. That's my word. I don't know if I take that from the Kool-Aid Man or who. But I got my coworker, he be saying that now. Oh yeah. I'm like, oh man. That's funny. Maybe my buddy used to say that. The same buddy who used to say, good old so and so. Somebody would walk up to him and be like, oh yeah, I saw Jeff last week. Good old Jeff. Or they'd be like, oh, Tiffany called me. Good old Tiffany. Good old so and so. And then he'd be like, oh yeah. Good old Greg's home gym. The good old leg press machine. You've been saying, oh yeah? Okay. That's funny. Funny stuff. Alright. 210. So I did 20 reps of the 110. I'm going to try and do 20 more reps of this. If not, go to failure either way. And don't lock your knees out. Don't do it. Alright? Ready? Yeah! Good steady reps. Yeah. Yeah. This is what we do. We inspire people, Tar Baby Yoda. Yeah. We inspire all the good people. Yeah. I like the way this feels. Ah. Yes. Make sure they're quality. Yeah. Quality reps. And I lost count. I'm probably somewhere between 12 and 14. Yeah. Good stretch. Yeah. I try to keep my butt on the seat. Sometimes your back wants to slide upward. Yeah. And push with your heels. Push with your heels. Wait till the leg starts to tremble. And then you'll know gains are being made. Let them tremble. Wait for them to burn. Come on. I'm glad I lost count too. That means I won't have it in my mind when to stop. Yeah. Yeah. Good weight. steady wins the race. Yes, sir. Yeah. I can definitely feel it in my glutes. That's a fact. Ah. I can feel it in the good hamstrings too. Yoda. Ah. 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 Not bad. I had more energy in my legs, but I stopped because my lower back was starting to feel a little off. And in the past, I had some trouble with my lower back, so I'm like, it's over. I'm not gonna tear up my back doing a leg exercise, you know. So listen to your body. Again, my legs felt okay. But you gotta listen to your other muscle groups at the same time. It's all connected. Your spine is connected to all that stuff thanks to your nerves. So, listen to your body. Okay. I'm gonna do the same machine, but I'm gonna do calf raises. But first, I'm gonna grab some Gatorade. Another brief intermission. Yes, sir. Ooh. Yeah. That's the beauty of this machine. You can use it for your calves. To our baby Yoda said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what they say in the churches. Yes, sir. I really like this weather too. Blessings. What up, Georgia, Florida? Welcome back to the channel, sir. No, Tar Baby Yoda said, yes, sir. So we're talking about that. That's what they say. Yes, sir. Mr. Baseball. Legends 23_25 said hi. What's up, Mr. Baseball? I'm not going to say all that. I'll say Mr. Baseball. That's a long name you got there, buddy. My name's Hudson. Like the river. You know, Hudson was my favorite gargoyle when I was a kid. Because the gargoyles, they named themselves after New York City, Bronx, Broadway, Brooklyn, Lexington, Hudson. Hudson was my favorite. So shout out to you. If that's your real name, that is, Hudson. I went to a grocery store over a year ago and I heard a mother talking to her son, you know, toddler, and she said, "Come on, Hudson." And I like interrupted. I was like, "Did you say his name is Hudson?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's such a cool name." I said, "You got a cool name, buddy." And then the mom said she named him after his grandfather. his grandfather's name was Hudson, according to her. So I always thought that was a cool name. So if your name is Hudson, shout out to you. Yeah, it's a family name. It kind of skips that generation. So he might not be Hudson Jr., but he'd be Hudson the second. Because Jr. is only if you have a first name, middle name, and last name the same. But if it skips a generation and you still have the same last name and the same first name as your grandpa, you're considered the second, not junior. There's a difference. Yeah, man. Good family discussion there, Mr. Baseball. Shout out to Hudson. So do you have siblings, Hudson? If so, I wonder what their names are. Are their names Lexington and Broadway and Brooklyn? What about Queens? That's another name. And New York City has so many cool street names and whatnot. You got Historia and all kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. Calf raises. I went back down to 50 pounds. Yes, he says. Holden, Hyatt, and Harrison. You guys got cool names, and they all start with, well, they don't all start with H. Yeah, they do. Whoa. Cool names. I want to meet your family, man. You guys sound like some cool people. They must have the coolest family reunions ever. Yeah. Imagine being in that family. There's a family function, like a wedding or something, and different people are giving speeches. And then they introduce the next person as Hudson. Now Harrison is coming up. Now Holden is coming up. Those are some cool names. Just imagine what they're going to name their children. Their kids are going to be the coolest kids in school. Yeah. That's right. Georgia, Florida, amazing. And with names like that, y'all can get a job. You guys can get a real state job with cool names like that. Because if I'm an employer and I'm looking through these applications and I see the name Hudson on there, I'm going to be like, this person needs to be at the top of our list. Hudson, Harrison, Hyatt. We need to look at these people. Now, if you have a crazy name, I might put that closer to the bottom of the basket. But if your name is Hudson, you got something going for yourself. I don't know what it is, but you're doing something. You keep up the good work, and you tell your parents, hey parents, thanks. You gave me a good name. A good name as to where I can get ahead in life. Yeah. All right. I'd say that's a warm-up for calves. Let me move this down just so you can see a little better. If I ever have a son, I might name him Hudson, man. How about that? Let's see. My cousin's name is Henry, but we all call him Hank. Okay. Yeah. If I have a son, I'll name him Hudson. And then fast forward, they're going to be like, Dad, where'd you get the name Hudson from? Oh, there's this guy on YouTube called Mr. Baseball. He told me his name was Hudson. I told him, great name, great name. And I told him I'd name my son after him. Such a good name. Yeah. I'm going to do 90 pounds now. Baby Yoda said, that would be cool, Greggatron. Yeah, I'm all for good names. Cause who doesn't want a cool name? Not so cool that it's like stands out, but cool in the sense that it's like smooth. Like you don't hear it all the time type stuff. Cool as in unique, but not so unique that it sounds crazy. Like some of these names to people I don't want to say, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, solid names, stand up names, like like Jeff, like Steve, which those are common, but if you got some more examples of some good strong names, like Ronson, you know, strong names. You said Henry, that's another good one. Chris is a good one. I was gonna say Eric. What else? I was gonna say Arthur. You don't hear Arthur that much. Yeah, William's a strong name. Yep. Oh yeah. Names that sound like if you're not in the room. Nice, Greg. If you're not in the room and they never met you before, they read your name, they're like, oh, that sounds like this might be a solid dude. You know. Leroy. Yeah, that's my granddad's name, Leroy. There's another good, I like Leon too. Leon is a good name. Max. There's another one. I like the name Charles too. Charles is a good name. That's a strong name. Edward, Edwin. Decisions. You know they have these things called baby books, books with baby names. The thing about baby names, a lot of the baby names sound like little kid names. But when they're adults, you don't want them to sound like little kids anymore. So you want it to be a strong enough name to where a baby can carry it all the way up through adulthood. Like, imagine being a baby with the name Hudson. Like, you're a tough baby. And now when you're an adult, you still got that tough skin. Whereas if you gave him like a baby name like Timmy, well now you gotta be an adult with the name Timmy. That still sounds like a little kid. Yeah. Crazy. But shout out to our new friend Hudson. And tell your parents, shout out to them for naming you that. There's no rush, no rush. Just get clean, quality, comfortable, solid reps. And you can squeeze it at the top. Hold it for a second. I always like the name Steve. Steve sounds solid. It's not as strong as Hudson, but it's just generic enough, but it's strong enough and solid enough. Like Arthur, that's more like Hudson. That's like a strong name. But something tells me if you have a name like Hudson or Arthur or Randolph, people around you are going to have high expectations of you. They're going to want you to be some type of leader. You're supposed to be the team leader. You're the captain. Or when you're at work, they're going to expect you to get the promotion because of your name. I mean, we wanted to promote you. You're the one with the name Hudson. Everybody else is like Jeff, John. Ken. Those aren't strong enough names. We need someone to represent our company and our business who sounds tough. We're gonna give Hudson that promotion. Yeah. When I was a kid, me and my brother used to make up stories all the time. We used to share rooms, and we tell stories every night before we fell asleep. And it was funny. And we laugh and laugh and laugh, and we laugh ourselves to sleep. But that's where I get my storytelling from, like with C-Sal and just now. I always had a wild imagination as a kid. My calves are burning now. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. Yes, sir. Oh, we're going viral out in these streets. I'm glad you said that. And I've been meaning to tell Terry this for a while. I think between me and Terry, one of us is going to go viral at some point. It's like I can feel it because, especially Terry, our content is so good, so crazy. And this goes for Jamie too, and Daniel, and possibly Lupin. One of us is going to go viral out in these streets. And when that happens, it's like boom, the rest is history. I'm surprised Terry doesn't have like 20,000 subscribers on the YouTube. The problem with now is different YouTubers, they have like 5 different platforms that they're on. So, which that's not a problem, but their viewers now are in so many places like Rumble, Cozy, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So your followers are not all in one place. So you could have millions of views. They're just not all on YouTube. They're all scattered about. So just food for thought. So she could have, let's say Terry has 5,000 subscribers. That's just on YouTube alone. But if you go to a different social media she might have 8,000 or 9,000. So it just depends on what the viewer is into, Oh, thank you, sir, Mr. Baseball, a.k.a. Hudson, a.k.a. the good gargoyle. Look at my last thing I said. Okay. He said, yeah, we'll make... Oh, that's what Chat Tart said. No. Greggatron, gotta get StreamYard and get a panel like... Yeah, I thought about that. I think they charge you for that. Car Baby Yoda said Larry is... I like the name Larry. Larry's a cool name. My mom is one of 7. Oh, Brooke, get out of here. Brooke, Bridget, Blake, Bailey, Bobby, Ben, and Billy. So, are your family members like the coolest people on earth? This is your mom's side, right? So did your dad's side, do they do that too? So what are your grandparents' names? Were you named after your grandpa? Was your grandpa's name Hudson? Hold on a second. His mom was out of 7. Brooke, Bridget, Blake, Bailey, Bobby, Ben, and Billy. And Billy with the IE, that's a girl's name. Yeah, that is cool. That's dope. Man. Yeah, your mom is Brooke. I like the name Brooke. I had a friend in high school. Her name was Brooke. She was a cheerleader. And her last name actually started with a B. But Brooke was good people. I don't know any bad Brooks. And I have a cousin named Brooke too. She's a little older than I am, but every Brooke I know is a solid woman. Brooke is like the female version of Charles. Like every Charles you know normally is a stand-up dude. Yeah. 100 pull-ups. Jamie says, do 100 pull-ups. Chat tard. Most black folks know they mom's side of the family way better than the dad's side. Perhaps. Okay, so now chat tard, now you're calling him Ethan Hawke. Okay. See, I done started something. Okay, so we got legs out of the way. I'm gonna do some good mornings to stretch my lower back. And I'll see how the spirit hits me when it comes to pull-ups, because it wouldn't hurt to do back. See, let me say this. The exercises you dread doing, make sure you set a specific time out just for those. For me, that would be pretty much legs and back. Whereas shoulders and chest and arms, I can do that whenever. Like those are the exercises I can do in my sleep. But when it comes to leg and back, I gotta really get into the spirit of those exercises. Because I really don't want to do it. You feel me? So I gotta be in the mindset, okay, I'm gonna hit legs. I'm hitting legs today. It's gonna happen. It has to happen. It needs to happen. And then I stop talking about it, I shut up and I do it. Whereas arms, I can roll out of the bed and do arms. Because I already love doing arms. So the ones you hate doing the most, make sure you still prioritize it. Alright? Because you don't want to neglect your muscle groups. Yeah, Jamie just said it. Arms, and I talked about this a while ago. Hey girlfriend, Latin and Callie. Arms are the funnest thing you can do. When did I say this? It might have been in a different live video, but arms is like recess. Arms, you can go out and just play with them, and it's fun. And you can do whatever with your arms. Whereas legs, you gotta be a lot more disciplined, in my opinion. Because your legs, you use your legs to carry your whole body, right? But I say your legs should be more disciplined because when you're doing legs, you're doing things like squats, leg press. You're potentially moving different type of weight, heavier weight. Whereas arms, you can do the dumbbells, and you're not putting yourself in danger when you're training arms, and even shoulders, not really. But when you're hitting legs, you gotta be dialed in. You feel me? Do at least 30 pull-ups. 30 pull-ups, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, but let me do some good mornings here. For those who don't know what good mornings are, it's a lower back exercise with a barbell. I'll show you. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Baseball, man. My dad's name is Justin, and his brother's name, my uncle Dennis. Okay, so they got different first letter names. It's not like Justin and Jeremy. Oh, now I had some next door neighbors growing up. They had 3 boys. The second one, he was Josh. The first one might have been Jim. And the third one was Jeremy. The baby was Jeremy. So it was like Jim, Josh, and Jeremy. I think the oldest one was Jim. And then Josh went to high school when I was there. He was a couple years older than me. But yeah, it was J, and J. And then the dad, his name started with a J. I think the first son was named after the dad. And I can't remember the mom's name. But yeah, I always thought that was cool. We need to have more George Foremans out there who name their kids all the same name, like Brooke, Billy, like what your family did. So, okay, um, Hudson. So, was your family inspired by George Foreman? Maybe George Foreman was Hudson's family's hero or something. Who knows? So many questions, so little answers. All right. Remember, lower back. And there's times where I might not even be planning on doing arms, but they're so fun. Like what Jamie just said. I'm like, I'll just do arms since I'm here, you know? That's so fun, arm. I love hitting arms. The problem with that is when you love hitting one group, you by default neglect the other groups. Yeah. That's why I'm focusing on lower back. Because it's not something I normally hit. But you gotta show love to every group. When you have a strong lower back, it will help you on your leg exercises, squats, leg press. That's why I stopped doing the leg press when I did, because my back's like, nah. So I said, let me focus on this. Prioritize it and focus on what matters. And I kind of bob on my way down a little bit just to get an extra stretch out of it. And I can feel it in my hamstrings too a little bit. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's good stuff. Good stuff. I saw that you subscribed. I appreciate that. It looks like all the good people are showing up. We got Jamie Russell, he's still here. We got Georgia, Florida. We got the good Chat Tard. I gotta make Jamie and Terry mods. Jamie. Let's see here. Add as moderator. Standard. Jamie is now a standard mod. Where'd Terry go? She was up there somewhere. You know what? I might even make Hudson a mod. Let's do that. Add as moderator. Standard. Bam! Hudson, aka George Foreman, aka Mr. Baseball, is now a mod. There's Terry up there. She said, "Get it, Greg." Add as moderator. Standard. Somebody in the past said, "Why not make me a super mod?" I'm like, dude, I ain't giving you all that power. You know? With great power comes great responsibility. All right. I'm going to do some more core. I warmed up with core earlier. Yeah, revitiligo. That's the opposite of what Michael Jackson's got. Lucky bastard. So Terry and Jamie and Mr. Baseball are all mods. Yes. And when it's a beautiful day out here, I can't help but to come outside and mess around. I just put my battery back in my bike. I just took a camera off my garage because it blew off the harness. It was just dangling. I did that. And that camera wasn't even attached to anything. I'm like, really? It was just there for show. But I might take that camera to my job just to make it look like there's observation in my office. Let's see. She said I'd model. You mean how? Oh, is modeling still going on? Yeah. I haven't had any more, but we're still talking about it. We're still in contact. Why do you ask? You want me to do some more modeling? Yeah. When I know, you'll know, pretty much. Ah, 22. One thing I will say, I like doing these workout streams because we get to talk. You guys get to ask questions. And we get to meet cool people like Hudson. Newcomers. Cool people. Yeah, it's different from just a normal video. Because in the normal video, you're just hitting me up in the comment section and I'll reply. But what up, Lupin the Third? My boy, what up? We got to make Lupin into a mod too. Whereas when you're live, you get to interact in a different way. Because half of the stuff I wouldn't even think of saying unless if I'm responding to you guys. Standard. Okay, Lupin. You're a mod too. Mr. Baseball. You're gonna be an uncle? Sweet. So what's your nephew or niece's name gonna be? It's gotta be something cool. And which sibling is having the child, Mr. Baseball? Yeah. Come over here, son. Jamie said something about pull-ups. Pull-ups actually sound good. I think Ethan Hawke inspired me. He inspired me. Oh, Royce? I like that name. One of my favorite rappers, his rap name is Royce. But it's cool when your real name is Royce. Oh, no, Lupin, we're talking about some good stuff. We're talking about names. So this guy came into the chat, Mr. Baseball, and he's like, yo, my name is Hudson. And I'm like, Hudson? I haven't heard that name in a while. Well, anyway, me, Hudson, and some other people, we're talking about all these cool names. Yeah. Lupin knows, Royce the 5'9". Yep. I don't want to say it, but you know. Oh, yeah. Royce to 5'9" because he's 5'9". Yeah. Okay, I missed the part. Who's having the baby? Newcomers. Oh yeah, newcomers are the best. Even when I'm out in real life, I love talking to strangers. Because they might tell you something you've never heard before, and you don't have to worry about seeing that person again because you're either out of town or you're just bumping into them. But yeah, newcomers, strangers in general are cool people. You don't have to worry about taking anything home because you don't even know them. You just have a conversation, and that's the end of it. Unless if you really click, and then you get to know the person, you see them around, you link up, but I love talking to strangers. My friend told me years ago, Greg, you could become friends with a brick wall. You could talk to a brick wall for 5 minutes, and by the end of that 5 minutes, you and that brick wall will then be friends. I was like, you're probably right about that. You are right. I'm gonna grab some more Gatorade real quick. That didn't take long. Alright, let me get these attachments out of the way. Let's turn it over here. Pull-ups, pull-ups, pull-ups. Alright. Look at all that sun outside. That's great. You guys are all up in the chat. I can't read everything y'all are saying. Tar Baby, we're going to do some pull-ups. Yeah. But before I do that, I should probably warm up with some lat pull-downs. Just to get the body a little bit more acclimated. I'll just use this as a warm up. Nice little warm up. Nothing too crazy. All right. All right. So this one's for Ethan Hawke. For those who don't know Ethan Hawke, that's Jamie Russell. I like how the name of this, the FTX, I like how it's by Inspire, because I like to inspire people. So I'm glad the company chose that name. Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna turn it this way just so you can see. My legs are not touching the floor. Alright. I'm like a psycho when it comes to the camera angle. I'm like a perfectionist. You feel me? I want stuff to look right. That's better. We were talking about doing exercises that you hate. I hate doing pull-ups. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Come on. That's 14. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. What? This thing's trying to make me... Can you guys still see me with a full view? You can still see me? All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. You have to do it or your live stream ends. Yeah. I knew I shouldn't have turned it. Right. You betcha. They're here for the chat. Trying to. Give me a minute. The dang. So you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Baseball. I had it on full screen. Well, then I went vertical just so you could see the machine. Tried to turn it back, and now it won't let me. I don't get it. Dripping sound, probably outside. Leaves are blowing. Who are you calling Seasal? She was here earlier. She was the first one in the chat. It was Seasal and I think Jamie. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie and Seasal were the first ones here. Latine and Callie. Digital drip. I got no clue what you're talking about. No clue. Alright. I just wish this thing didn't act like this when it comes to... Because I was having this problem before, but I kind of know how to get around it. It's just when you put the phone vertical and then go back to horizontal, now it makes it look like it doesn't want to let you do that. Yeah, it's all good. People are in and out. That's a cool sounding name. Digital drop. The camera's good now? Right. That's for if it's vertical. But it was horizontal and it was full screen, right? Whereas now if I do this, it won't let me do it anymore. But that's how it was at the beginning of the video. That's what doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make sense. It's all good. All right, we did back, we did legs. Let's go back to core. Earlier we did 20 and then 25, I believe, crunches. So I'll continue on that. Because I try to do 100 crunches. Even if it's not all at once. You feel me? Actually, it was over here. Okay, Mr. Baseball. Hit me up in the comment section when this is over and we'll check out your channel. Alright? Or post your link in the description box or in the chat and we'll check you out. These are all the good people. Tar Baby Yoda, Wolfden, aka Lupin the Third, Pinocchio's Helicopter, aka Georgia, Florida. Yeah, mildly attractive chat tard, Latin and Callie. That's my girlfriend. We got all the good people today. Jamie showed up. Terry was here. Yourself. Yeah, Seasal was here. So we're just getting it in. No pressure whatsoever. We're just getting it in. That's what we're doing. That's right. $17. Come on. Ah. $20. $25. 25. $30. So I did 20 first. I just did 30, that's 50. In the second set I did 25. So 75. So I'm gonna do 25 more, and then we'll probably call it a day. Because we already hit lower back, we hit legs, we're finishing up on core, and I did some upper back with the pull-ups. So back, legs, and core. That's what this will be about. Not bad. Not bad at all. Hold on, my girlfriend's saying something. Girlfriend said, I have never owned an incubator in my life. What are y'all talking about? I have no clue what y'all are talking about. No, Pinocchio. They would mean Latin. They would have to show her mug. No matter how much money Greggatron no matter how much money Greggatron sends, she will never marry him. Ideal? You mean ideal life? What'd you guys do this weekend? Anything special? Anything going on in the land of Chat Tard, Tar Baby Yoda, Pinocchio's helicopter, Latin and Cali? Anything out of the ordinary happen? Like in church, we're gonna have a brief intermission, but in the meantime, say hello to your neighbor. Talk to your neighbor, greet your neighbor, and we'll be right back. No, I'm just getting some water real quick. But talk amongst yourselves. Shake hands with your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, I am glad of you. As long as I have air in my body and water in my body, I'm good. Oh, look, our friend is back. Just so you know, I'm 13, Holden's 20. So you're a kid? You're a 13-year-old on Greggatron's channel? Whoa. You're a 13-year-old with the name Hudson? See, that's why we all thought he was a stand-up guy. He's 13, but he acts like a grown-up. Shout out. And we made him a moderator. That's right. That is right. He's gonna go home, show his parents. Parents, look. This guy on YouTube, Greggatron, he just made me a moderator. And his parents are gonna be like, son, what's a moderator? And what's a Greggatron? You know, Greg, good idea. I will give my wealthy neighbors some of my chicken eggs. Okay. You think he's a troll, Tar Baby Yoda? It's possible. But we love the trolls. We can make trolls moderators if they're good trolls. Because Tar Baby Yoda, some people call you a troll. Yeah, that's right, Tar Baby. Get your parents to subscribe. Your parents might need advice making gains. There's nothing wrong with that. He's learning how to troll. Well, people like you teach him how to troll. You're the master troll, Tar Baby Yoda. So don't look down on the trolls. Because if you do, you're looking down on yourself. Yeah, they call you a troll for sure. But we love the trolls. Shout out to the trolls. And another thing about trolls, I don't delete trolls' comments. Because I want to know where people are coming from. And if I delete their comments, that means I'm giving them too much power. I'm like, man, I don't care what y'all say. Just keep it, PG. Don't be using profanity and all that. But you can say what you want. You can call me an idiot, a dumbass. You can say I'm on steroids. You can say whatever you want. Well, actually, dumbass is a curse word. But as long as you keep it relatively clean, I ain't worried about the comments. Because you're giving the other person too much power when you're like, oh, I need to block this person. Oh, I need to delete this person. Oh, I need to take this person's comments down. It's like, that means you care too much. Me personally, I don't care what y'all say. I'm glad y'all are here. Don't get me wrong, but let's just say Hudson is a troll, and I'm still going to make him a moderator. Because from what I've seen, he's not bad people. You feel me? He's not bad people. And now he can take the good word on his own channel, and he can inspire others who troll him, and then show his trolls love. And then it just trickles down. Get it? That's deep. We can't treat the trolls different from how we treat one another, because now you're just discriminating. And I'm glad y'all brought this up. I was on Lupin's page last week, and he actually mentioned Tar Baby Yoda being a troll and how he feels about trolls and different types of people. And I'm just like, dude, Tar Baby Yoda is harmless. Like, he's a trip, but he means no harm. And I try to explain this to Lupin. So he's kind of like getting his head wrapped around some people. I'm like, dude, Tar Baby Yoda is my manager. You know what I'm saying? If he was a bad guy, do you really think he'd be my manager? Do you really think he'd be a moderator? Like Mr. Baseball. And I got a pretty good judge of character. So if these are bad guys, for one, I wouldn't have them as mods. And two, if they're bad guys, I'm not gonna delete their comments either way. You feel me? MGMT. Oh, management. Yeah. Yeah, he's my manager. So, shout out to the trolls. And for the trolls out there who mean other people harm, that means those people, if they believe you, if they're affected by it, if they're offended by it, that means they're giving you all the power. So the weaklings are giving the trolls what they want. Because the bad trolls, they want to be your god. And if you agree with it, if it's hurting your feelings, you're giving these people what they want. So don't fall for it. They're just people sitting at a keyboard. That's it. End of story. These people can't hurt you physically. Most of these people, you don't even know their first name. Now, let's take Hudson for example. We don't know if that's his real name, but even if it's not, okay, and we'll call him Hudson because that's what he claims is his name. And just stop taking stuff so personal. And I talked to Jamie about this weeks ago, and I mentioned this in a previous stream. Jamie had a post, that's Ethan Hawke for those who don't know. Jamie had a post that says something like, and I'm paraphrasing, something about trolls and blocking people and taking down comments, something like that. And I was like, dude, why even delete what they're saying? I'm like, you're giving them too much clout. You're giving them too much exposure. If you go out of your way to delete someone's comment, that lets them know you care what they're saying. Now, YouTube is weird now. YouTube will delete your comments for you, but you don't even want those comments to be removed. But YouTube is sensitive now. So depending on who comments on what video, depending on what the comment is, they'll take it down, but you don't even know they're taking it down. Or it'll say comment posted, and then you go and look for it, and you're like, where's my comment? So YouTube plays a part in that too. Because YouTube thinks you're trolling when you're not really trolling. So I don't really understand it anymore. Yeah. Lupin's a good guy. Hold on a second. We got to make Georgia, Florida a moderator too. Add. Standard. Yeah. All right, Pinocchio. You're a moderator too. Chetar says, Latin A, cheat on Greggatron with me. He deserves it. He's been a horrible... You know what's funny about what you're saying? When I read your messages, I can hear your voice saying it. I can hear your voice in my head when I read your words. Because I know how Chatar talks. He's like, Latin A, cheat on Greggatron with me. He deserves it. He's been a horrible boyfriend to you. And you know how he laughs after he talks? I was talking to Terry about you. I think you were still there with us last week or so. But I didn't want to repeat it because Jamie was right there. Because this is before we met Jamie. But it was so funny. Remember months ago when we were on Terry's show? And you said to Terry, you're like, shut up, Terry. Shut up. You're my girlfriend. he said, he said, "You're my girlfriend, Terry. You're my girlfriend." Because I think Chris or somebody was hitting on her. And then you're like, "This is my stream." You're like, "No, no, this is my stream." And he just had me rolling. He had me cracking up. And then one time he told her, "No, Terry," because somebody said she's pretty or whatever, or she looks nice or something. And Chattar's like, "No, you're ugly, Terry. You're ugly." He just had me rolling, man. He is so stupid. But I'd be willing to repeat some of the stuff you used to say. But like, well, now it wouldn't be as funny because now Jamie is actually engaged to her. So if you can't really say she's ugly and that's right, you can't play like that now because now it's disrespectful because this is this man's fiance. Get it? But before she met Jamie, Chattar used to talk crazy to her, like, "This is my stream," and "Shut up, Terry." he used to get on her own channel and say, "This is my stream, and you're my girlfriend." He's stupid. Oh, he's stupid. Okay. What did I miss? Okay. Latin and Callie said, "I don't think Greggatron owns a farm for the mini farm life." Whatever that means. Tarp of Yoda said, "You're cool, Greggatron. We've known each other for years." That's right. I like Jesse Lee Peterson people, including, and I just noticed now that you said that, you guys been getting along very well lately. Because Tar Baby Yoda and Lightning and Kelly, you guys used to fight a lot, but not so much now. And even Maina, I don't see you guys fighting anymore. So that's cool. Chattar says to Lightning and Kelly, "Yeah, he doesn't have one yet. He's gonna buy you one in a couple years and put you in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant." Yeah. Tarby Yoda said, "Cause she likes Jesse. I gave her a little slack." Yeah. Pinocchio, someone said I support LGBT, and I said, "For the electric chair? Damn." There's another acronym for LGBT. L is liberty, G is guns, B was like beer or something, and then T, I can't remember. But it was regarding patriotism. You own them. Yeah, about the whole troll thing, Yoda says, you own them when they get angry. And I'm a supervisor at my job, and I'll say work-related stuff, work-related, and it pisses people off. I'm like, why are you getting pissed off when I'm telling you work-related stuff? So they're letting me control them in the wrong way. Instead of me controlling them on what needs done, I control them because they're mad at me about it. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, YouTube deleted my comments on your video. I don't understand why. Because I'm subscribed to you last I checked, and you're subscribed to me, but we have a history of talking to one another. So I'm like, why is YouTube deleting our comments from each other when we already have a history of being friends? It doesn't make sense to me. The Wolf Den, nice to me, she says. You guys are posting all kinds of comments. Let me finish this workout real quick, and then I'll get with you. Yeah, trolls are something else. And it's not the trolls who's the issue, it's the way they take the trolls. And then YouTube will remove comments that are not harmful. So I don't get it. Try Baby Yoda says, that's the truth, Josh. The truth. All right, last set. Get this right. 25 more makes 100. All right. Oh. Yeah. The fun stuff. Ah. 12. 17. 21. Catch your breath. 2. 'Don't stop there. That's a total of 100. You gotta do outstanding stuff. Ugh. Okay. Good. Good. All right, what are you guys talking about? What are you saying? Women love guys that make them laugh. It's women love guys who make them laugh. Yes, chat tard. The truth. The truth. Something like that, Pinocchio's helicopter. It was something like that. I can't remember. The L was liberty. The G was guns. And the B might not have even been beer. It could have been something else. It was on a t-shirt, I believe. Keep being honest and rude, LOL. Chat Tard says. Did you guys watch the Greggatron movie? Chat Tard, I gave you a shout out at the very end. See comments. You guys got your own conversation going on. Okay, cool. You seen the movie? Cool. Yes. You, Tar Baby Yoda, and Sweet Amy, and He Black, and others, Jamie, Terry, you guys, Lupin, Daniel, you guys were all in the shout out section. And that was my first movie. I want to show you guys something real quick while you're here. Thank you, Pinocchio's helicopter. I appreciate that. It took me about 3 weeks. Yeah. So, when I get off of here, I'm going to show this sword off. The video is already recorded. I'm just gonna edit it a little bit, maybe cut some stuff out, but you'll be seeing it within the next hour or so. This is my newest sword. I don't want to show too much here because I want you to watch the video, but it's a long ass sword from Bleach. It's almost 5 feet tall. So this will be my next video, which will premiere Bleach. It'll premiere today. You like that, Chatard? That was funny. I had to clip that because that was priceless. Sometimes I clip stuff and they don't even clip it. I'm like, you guys got to get on these clips because those clips, that's what reaches out to the normal people who don't normally watch Bond. But that's kind of how I started watching, was from just little clips, whether it be from Get a Job or somebody else. Yeah, that was funny. People hate on Tony from California, but I'm like, what would the show be without Tony and people like him, Earl, Maze? They make the show because they're like the bad guy. When there's a good guy, there's always a bad guy. People like Tony, he's the arch nemesis of Bond. So we need those calls for the disagreement's sake. And it also shows JLP and Hake and others, they know how to hold their own against people who disagree with them or people who name call them or whatever. But you should have those types of callers because they're the best calls. They're putting JLP in a box to where he has to MacGyver his way out that box. So you shouldn't just want the same callers. No, you should want people to talk stuff and disagree. Yeah, but that was priceless when Tony called Derek the C word. And it was funny too because Tony was laughing, JLP was laughing, Joel, everybody was laughing at that. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I made a video weeks ago clipping when Tony called Derek the raccoon word, but without the ra. It was so funny. Priceless. But normally I started clipping all of Tony's calls because he's a trip. He's a trip. Maze is redundant. I mean, her name is Maze, you know? What more needs to be said? And I was actually thinking about what you said, Chattar, the other day when we were on Terry's, when you said, you're a... And I was just laughing. Because it's funny, man. It's so funny. Derek's a pretty good sport. Yeah. Derek's cool, people. Oh, thanks for the compliment for the sword. Latin Kelly says, pretty sword. It's not meant to be pretty. This is a warrior's weapon. Look how jacked up it is and raggedy. That's from combat. Nothing pretty about this sword. But you'll see it in the video. Does anybody have any questions before I leave here? It's been almost 2 hours. Maisie is the reason why me and Greggatron aren't compatible with the sisters. We gotta get us a Mexican or a white girl like the Hodge twins. I see what you mean. The problem now is a lot of these females, they act just like Jasmine Crockett. And no one wants to go home and put up with that every evening after work. There's a reason why men make stops, whether it be at the hardware store or the bar or somewhere before they go straight home. There's a reason for that. Because ain't nobody trying to go straight home and deal with that. Listen, there's guys who they go home, and as soon as they get one foot in the door, this is all, how come you didn't respond to my text message? How come you didn't respond to my call? How come? I'm like, I just put 8, 10, 12 hours in. Men ain't trying to hear that when they get home. Men want peace, quiet, and tranquility when they get home. And they don't even give the man a chance to even like take his shoes off. This is why guys like me and Chat Tard, we don't put up with it. I'm not. I'm not putting up with it. Latin and Cali knows it doesn't make sense to put up with it. Now, I know a guy, shout out to him. This guy was a good dad, stand-up dad, but he just couldn't stand the baby's mom. What up, DJ on Paul? We just finished working out, man. We're getting ready to leave now, and I'm showing this off as a preview. This will be my next video coming up soon, today, so stay tuned. But I had a homie who, he loved his kids. He had like 3 or 4 kids with this woman, all with the same woman. But he used to work at a restaurant. He was like a cook. But whenever he got off work, he would always hang out with me or one of the other homies or somebody, or go somewhere before he went home. Because he understood when he got home, it was nothing but this, constantly. And even if he threw a party and his wife was there, or a baby mom, whatever she was, there was always some type of chaos, some type of drama. I'm like, y'all are the hosts of this party. We're at y'all's house. Y'all invited us. But instead of just everybody being cool, she had to be the center of attention at this house party. I'm like, but the party isn't for you guys. The party is for everybody. But she had to be the center of attention. And I hated that. I remember hating that. So I remember that friendship was pretty much cut short because his baby mom was so crazy. I couldn't even hang out with dude because she'd freak out. Because I would be hanging out with my homies. We would invite him to hang out with us. But whenever he was with us, she thought he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing. I'm like, but this is one of the homies. He can kick it with us if he wants to. And like I said, he loved his kids. He just didn't want to be home a whole lot because the mom was so crazy. But if the mom was decent, he would have been home all the time with her and the kids. And he wasn't doing anything bad. He wasn't out robbing and stealing and killing. No, he was a stand-up dude. He had a job. He liked to work. He just didn't like being home all the time because he knew he had to deal with this woman. And I remember that. So a lot of these relationships are like that. And a lot of these females out here, they're just like her. Well, in his predicament, the kids were already born. So it was harder for him to get out of that situation. And he told me one day, he's like, Greg, I don't want to leave because I love my kids. And he wasn't like asking me for advice or whatever. We were just having a conversation. But this man, he loved his kids. But the mom, the baby mom, she was just like crazy, man. And this dude, he was just a normal guy. But he didn't understand the quicksand he stepped in when he met her and had kids with her. Because for all we know, she didn't start acting crazy until after the kids were born, after she got what she wanted, for all we know. But these relationships, they be like that, man. That's how they be. Yeah, well, this is long before I found JLP. This is back in 2017, 2016 maybe. Yeah. This is a while ago. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. That's how it'd be. Gym time on a Sunday. Yeah. You can rewind it if you need to. I hit core, back, and legs. And then tomorrow maybe I'll hit some arms and shoulders. But you will see this in the next video. I promise. Anybody have any questions before I get out of here? Because I don't like to end the stream on a bad note. That's one thing I notice when I'm in somebody else's stuff. I'm like, hold on, hold on, hold on. I have one more question. And then the stream's over. And I'm like, dang it. Or I'll send it at the last second. And the person doesn't get a chance to read it. Question. Nice try. Why are you gay? Who is gay? You are gay. I am not gay. You are a transgender. Who says I'm a transgender? You are. You are a transgender. You are gay. I am not gay. Go ahead, Light and Callie. I said go ahead. Yeah, Yoda, that's what he said. Why are you gay? I am not gay. You are a transgender. Who says I'm gay? This is before YouTube was clamping down on people. I think this video came out before cancel culture was really a thing. And another thing about transgender people, shout out to the transgenders. Back when Jerry Springer was on TV, it was never a big deal. Like, we kind of knew they were around, and it was fun, and people would talk stuff, and everybody was having a good time. Thanks to the good, late, great Jerry Springer. Well, then fast forward, somewhere during Obama or after Obama, all of a sudden, it was so bad to talk about these people. But it's like they're on Jerry Springer in every other episode, and they're fighting just like the non-transgender people are fighting, and they're exposing themselves just like everybody else, and it's fun, and they're getting views and all this stuff. So at what point was it not okay to talk about transgender people? Because Dave Chappelle used to talk about black people, white people, men, women. Chris Rock, same thing. Comedians used to talk about all of those people, especially black comedians like Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. They talked about mad people, and black people, they loved it, and white people, they loved it. And white people love it when black comedians talk about white people because it's just funny. So at what point was it not okay to talk about transgender people? I just never understood that. Because when it comes to comedy, prior to the wokeness, the cancel culture, black people were a very good sport when it came to black stereotypes. Like Bernie Mac, he would talk stuff about black people all the time. His mom, his grandma, his family, all kinds of people. Because he understood where black people came from. Like Ice Cube in the Friday movies and stuff like that. We appreciated it because we knew Ice Cube had an understanding and he was real. But no one was offended by when Ice Cube or Bernie Mac or anybody in these movies or stand-up comedy shows, nobody was offended by any of it. And if you were offended, you just didn't watch it. Whereas fast forward, you can't even make a comment about transgender people because they get butthurt. But since when? Since when do y'all get butthurt? But you want to compare yourself to the black struggle so much. But black people always had a good sense of humor when it came to being black. Like, look at the Boondocks, for example. That whole show is about pushing different stereotypes to wake people up. So, fast forward, how are you now offended when we talk about you guys? So we can talk about black people all day long, but now we can't talk about transgender people. Yet, on the LGBTQ flag, y'all got black people and brown people in y'all's flag. So you want to use us to push your agenda, yet you get offended when you're treated the same as black people. I, I, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Well, you're right. But black people, thanks to the wokeness, they're triggered now too. I'm saying prior to this woke stuff, black people were not offended by any of this stuff. Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Bernie Mac, even when white comedians talked about us, it was funny. And when Jerry Springer exposed us and white people, it was fun. Same thing goes with Maury. And if you didn't like watching Maury and Jerry, you just didn't watch it. I don't remember people boycotting. I'm sure they did, but I don't remember people boycotting Jerry and Maury and Wilkos. They just didn't tune in. Whereas now they want to take your whole... They'll probably take this whole video down right now just because we're talking about this. You see what I'm saying? Greggatron, a black man. It's a black man who works, not that works. A black man who works at my local grocery store told me my black friends that voted for Trump aren't black. Yeah, 20 years ago, that type of thinking wasn't even thought of. Like, you didn't hear black people calling black people coons and toms if they voted for Bush or Reagan. But the minute they vote for Trump, now they're sellouts. But Trump is promoting the same stuff Reagan tried to promote. So people just changed over the years. People got offended. People got soft. They're soft as baby poop. Yeah, I like Wilkos. Wilkos personally is my favorite. Wilkos was my hero when I was in high school. Like that guy, that was my guy. And I used to watch Steve during the summer after summer school. Me and my siblings, we used to watch Steve every day. So that's actually how I got a lot of views on YouTube, because I was recording Wilkos on my old TV when I was a kid. But yeah. And back then, I thought I was just, getting the word out on Wilkos. Well, then fast forward, YouTube hits me with all these copyrights. I'm like, copyright? It says Steve Wilkos right there at the bottom of the screen. They thought I was like trying to take Steve's content to make money off of it. But I'm like, I'm not even making money off of Wilkos. I don't even monetize my videos, but sometimes YouTube will monetize it for me. If it gets so many views, it'll actually put ads on my Wilkos videos, and I wasn't even trying to. So I don't really get it. The Wilkos video on your channel has, yeah, I'm telling you, like Steve is still my guy to this day. Don't get it twisted. I kind of woke up now, but I used to think Steve was like a superhero. Like, oh man, he's protecting these women. He's standing up for people who can't stand up for themselves. And then fast forward, I realized, well, a lot of these people got themselves into these situations. And I remember my dad, because my dad, he used to watch it with us. I remember my dad saying, Steve thinks he's God. I'm like, Dad, he's helping people. He's helping people, Dad. And my dad is like, they know what they're doing. The thing about Steve judged the bad guy a lot, but he never put any responsibility on the victim. You know what I'm saying? So he treated the victim, let's say a woman got abused. He treated the victim like she was a perfect angel, right? And then the guy who was beating her, he was just the scum of the earth. And I remember there were episodes where like the woman would like do a lot of this, or she would like jump on his back, or she would be verbally or whatever type of abusive, whether it's physically or non-physically. And that would cause the guy to react in such a way because he didn't know how to deal with women. So he would then get violent with her. So the guy on the show, the guest, he would say, Steve, she does this and she does that and all these things. Well, then Steve would pretty much throw out the window everything she was doing and say, you're supposed to be the bigger man, and why don't you walk away? Walk away. You don't have to hit her. But the guy, that's all he knew because that's all he got from that woman. So they were abusing one another. It wasn't a matter of right and wrong, it was righter and wronger. They were both wrong, but Steve would always take the side of pretty much the woman who called the show to get quote unquote justice. But she was no angel. She was definitely not an angel. And Steve, he used to go off on the Steve used to go off on those people, man. But it was entertaining. And I remember thinking like, man, this dude is really out here making the world a safer place. And to some degree, I'm sure he was. But looking back at those videos, I wish he would have gotten on the victim. Because I remember, not the victim, but the other person. Yeah, the victim. But I remember there were some episodes where a woman would call the show and say, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's abusive to the kids and all these things. Well, that's her accusing him, right? So Steve, by default, he had a preconceived idea, okay, I'm going to treat this guy like a scumbag, not knowing the truth yet. Fast forward, at the end of the episode, the lie detector test came out that this lady was lying the whole time. This guy was not doing all these things. Well, by then, Steve already threw the chair. Steve already called this guy a scumbag. Steve already damn near told him to get the hell off my stage. Well, then the results show that the woman was lying and the man was being honest. So now Steve almost has to like walk back and say, hey, you know what? I just had to treat this the way it was presented to me. I'm glad you didn't do it. And sometimes he would apologize and shake the guy's hand. But it's like, dude, why not give me the benefit of the doubt? Because he was doing that show long enough. He should have known, okay, these women, they lie. The men lie, but the women, they lie too. So he didn't treat every couple with a blank slate. He automatically sided with the woman who was claiming the man was a scumbag. And in many cases, he was a scumbag. But the woman, she was a scumbag too. And my whole thing is, if you're with this guy and he's a scumbag and he's doing all these things, why are you still with him? You got, what's that called when you like getting beat? What's that called? Help me out here. It's when you're abusing. It's when you fall in love with your abuser. Ah, it's on the tip of my brain. Dang, this is gonna kill me now. Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. Oh, okay, better. Not better woman syndrome, but Stockholm. Yeah, you got it. Latin and Cali. Yeah. So they got this Stockholm syndrome so bad that they can't get out of it. And there's 1,000 different excuses as to why they don't leave. But the point is, the bottom line is they don't leave. So let's just say this guy was the scum of the earth. I'm like, okay, he's the scum of the earth. Get away from him. Get help. And Steve would offer help. But in many cases, the woman wouldn't want to take the help. They go right back with the man. So you just had a whole hour of Steve. Y'all flew to Chicago or the tri-state area, New York, wherever it was. Yeah, the pimp hand. So y'all spent all this time on the Wilkos show, got a free hotel, all these things, and then expose the guy as a scumbag. Yet you go back home with him. So in many cases, those episodes were counterproductive. Because yes, it's good for the viewer, us, to see how these people are. But at the same time, we also got to see that they're just going to go right back to them. It's like an endless cycle. So it's like, was Steve really helping these people? Is he really helping them if A, they're just going to go back to each other, or B, just get into a different relationship that's just like the last one? It was an endless cycle of mess. I remember there was an episode of Springer. I'm glad you brought up the pimp hand thing, Chat Tard. There was an episode of Springer when, excuse me, you remember the security guard Pete? He was another cop, or a retired cop maybe. The big swole security guard. He had a bald spot. Pete, right? So there's an episode with this pimp who he just kind of talked any type of way to this woman, called her fat, stupid, ugly, she ain't no good, all these things, just terrible things he say to her. Bottom line, she kept going back to him. Well, she finally called Jerry and wanted to figure this out. So Jerry is like, oh, this isn't right. You shouldn't be treating her like that. And he's saying to the woman, why are you with him? So I think Jerry had more understanding than Steve, because Steve had more anger. Jerry didn't really have anger like that. Jerry just wanted the truth to come out, whereas Steve was more judgmental. Anyway, so Jerry's like, and Jerry kind of treated both sides the same. He didn't really team up, not a whole lot, not like Wilkos anyway. Anyway, Jerry's like, why are you with this guy? And when the guy comes out, he's like, why are you doing these things, And the pimp said, man, she knows what it is. She's just going to go back whenever we get home, she knows what's up. And he said something like, she knows what it is. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, because he was beating her. That's what it was. I'm going to keep doing it. And then out of nowhere, the security guard, Pete, said, hey, come here. Grabbed him by the shirt. You think you're going to come on this show? And the crowd goes, yeah! The whole stadium erupted. He said, you think you're going to come on this show? And I was thinking about making a Greggatron impersonation of this. He's like, you think you're going to come on this show and threaten her? And he picked the guy up by his shirt, pinned him to the wall. This guy's feet were above the floor. And I'm like a kid. And I'm like, oh, snap. And it's like pin the tail on the donkey. He was pinned to the wall. And he had a really big shirt. That shirt didn't change. He grabbed that whole shirt and just, boom. You think you're going to come on this show and threaten people? I don't care who you are, something like that. And he said, if you're going to be on this show, you're not going to be acting like, something like that. He said, you're not going to be doing all this. And then he puts the guy down finally. And then the crowd starts saying, Pete, Pete, Pete. Oh, he traumatized that dude. And they could be paid actors. It's possible. Yeah, something like that. He said, we're just going to keep going back to what we doing. Yeah, he said, you think you're going to come on this show? And people say, yeah. Oh, man, that stuff was funny. Finland and Sweden border each other. Yoda, what are you talking about? Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome. My point is, we shouldn't judge one side or the other so harshly. Like we should just receive the information and innocent till proven guilty. Because we don't know. There's like 16 sides to a story. And it's innocent till proven guilty, not guilty till proven innocent. You feel me? But yeah, I remember my dad saying, Steve thinks he's God. Steve doesn't even give these people a chance to talk. But I was so wrapped up in Steve. Hey kids. My next door neighbors. I remember being so wrapped up in Steve, I thought like everything he said was like gold, you know. But then I started watching JLP, and I'm like, huh. So JLP, according to his logic, Wilkos would be considered a beta male, you know, because Steve was very emotional. A lot of the show, he took it personal. He made it into something personal, which we shouldn't. But yeah, Wilkos and Springer, I can talk about that stuff all day. Yeah, Steve versus Hake. So did you guys watch Joel? It would have been Thursday because he's off on Friday. Joel made an episode about Dr. Phil, and I sent him a super chat. I was like, hey, I'm glad you're doing this. Let's do Wilkos next. And he read it. He's like, yeah, that'd be a good idea, he said. And he said, Steve Harvey, too. I'm like, okay, bet. Because he's been talking about the crime, True Crime Thursday or whatever it is. But Wilkos would be a perfect breakdown. Because the stuff they deal with on those episodes is the same stuff Joel's been talking about. And then somebody in the comment section said Phil Donahue would be good too. Yeah, you like Wilkos, DJ on Paul? I love Wilkos. Even to this day. Yeah. Joel does not do a show on. Right. I believe it was on Thursday. I sent that super chat. Yeah, Dr. Phil. I like Dr. Phil. I didn't grow up watching him, but I like him now that I'm an adult. But as a kid, I never watched Dr. Phil. I never watched Oprah. The only ones I really tuned into was Wilkos and Jerry. I didn't like Maury either. Yeah. Maury was the same stuff. I liked Wilkos in the beginning when he was rough, when he was tough, when he was hard as nails. And then those episodes got replaced with just baby daddy crap and cheating. I stopped watching at that point. But I really liked him when he was tough. But from my understanding, he had like a heart problem. So his wife, which became his producer, she told him, hey, you can't be out here getting mad like this because it's not good for your health. That's why in seasons 3 and 4, when they're in Connecticut, after the setting changed, the producer had changed. Well, the types of episodes changed too. So a lot of these episodes weren't about the lowest of the low, the worst of the worst. They were about stupid stuff like cheating and dumb stuff. But seasons 1 and 2 was golden. I remember looking for that stuff on DVD, but they never made DVDs of Jerry or Wilkos. Yeah. Joel never accepted you, Lane, but was always sweet on Seasal. I think everybody likes Seasal. It's very easy to love Seasal. Yeah. Lane, yeah, because he do Punchy TV on Mondays. So he do. Okay, that makes sense. Well, Punchy TV premieres on Monday, but they could still record it on the weekend or something else. I don't think they record. They go live sometimes on Monday, but they don't always premiere. I mean, they come on Monday, but a lot of times they'll be like a week behind. They'll record it in advance and then they'll drop it the following Monday or so. Right. But I don't know if they record it on Monday. They can record it whenever they want, pretty much. Yeah. But one thing about Punchy, I think Punchy is Joel's baby. I think Punchy is like what the Fallen State is to JLP. The Fallen State, that's his thing. Whereas Punchy really feels like Joel's creation. Punchy TV, that is. Because he's a really good host. And I really like the way how he narrates it, how he orchestrates it. It feels very smooth. I talked about some chats, some streams on Terry's and others, how it's like all over the place. Just all over the place. But when Joel is in charge of Punchy, it's very smooth and orderly. And he's a really good orchestrator. So I feel like Punchy is actually Joel Friday TV Part 2. It's like the sequel to Joel. So if you're watching Joel Friday, it's good, but it's not enough. So Punchy is like the follow-up to Joel. Because sometimes you want Joel to keep talking, but it's only an hour. Whereas Punchy, you really get that umph that you wouldn't normally get on Joel's show. So, and I sent him a super chat about this a while ago. He never read it. It was back in November. But I was like, I really like the way you orchestrate Punchy. It really is a continuation of your show. Yeah, Joel, he is low IQ, but that's a good thing. Joel isn't cool. He acts like he's not angry. Then gets a turtle. He threw a turtle in the river, I guess. But yeah, Punchy is that stuff. So I could see Joel doing the Fallen State when Jesse gets tired of doing it. Jesse's in his 70s. So I could definitely see Joel being the host on the Fallen State. Because he would run it in the same way he runs Punchy. It's cool, man. Super cool. Any more questions? Did I answer your question, Latin and Cali? I can't see Tar Baby Yoda air chat tar, so I don't know why anyone keep talking about me. You know we gotta talk about you. Joel Friday does not do. Yeah, I read that. It would be it'd be cool to get Wilkos on the Fallen State. Because he's changed a lot too over the years. He went from being super angry, and he's still angry, but he's slowed down. Steve's almost 60. So the older you get, you will get more calm and more wise. But it would be cool to get, because Jerry Springer, he passed away, rest in peace. But it would be nice to get Steve Wilkos on Jesse's show or the Fallen State. Like, that'd be cool. Yeah. Would you rather wife Jasmine? Oh, why would you ask me? Come on now. Honestly, AOC. Because AOC has some wiggle room. Chat tired. Boof. Bofum. It's Bofum. Boffum. All one word. Bofum. Not both of them. Bofum. No, it'd be AOC. That's what I was thinking about it. because Jasmine Crockett's just way too out of control. You could tell her the sky is blue, and if you're her man, she wouldn't listen to you. She would treat you just any type of way. She would, you wouldn't be able to disagree with her. AOC, I think there's some wiggle room with AOC. If AOC gets with the right man, I think she'd be alright. You could guide AOC. You could work with AOC. But Jasmine Crockett doesn't stand a chance. You see, AOC has a man. Someone's gonna scoop her up. And she's pretty. But Jasmine Crockett, I don't find her pretty on the inside or the outside. So, what up, Chris? I would definitely not marry Jasmine Crockett. But AOC, much more likely. Not that I want to marry either one of them. Yeah, AOC would make some nice what? Chimichangas. Get out of here. Why you gotta take it there? I'm talking about values. You're talking about what type of food she would make. How come when I try to say some deep stuff, y'all just be in the chat just talking mess? This must be how Hake feels, or Joelle, or even Terry. Because there's times people say some deep stuff, and y'all just in the chat talking mess. Stupidity. AOC had a wedding ceremony, wedding dress, and all to her white man. Claims not legally married, but I still think they are. Who cares? Who really cares if they're really married or not? I'm just saying, she has a much better, think about it. She has a much better chance of getting married. If you take 10 dudes, line them all up, and say, hey, you 10 men, which one would you rather marry? I guarantee you 9 of them would say AOC. That's a fact. For life. For what? Oh. I'm going to make Chris a moderator too. Add. Chris is now a standard moderator. Yeah. She's so far gone, Georgia, Florida. There's no hope for her. She'd be a pain in the A as a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife. Even if she was your mistress, let's say you're cheating on your wife with her, even that would be a headache. I shouldn't be saying that. Don't cheat on your wife, people. I wouldn't trust that woman to babysit my kids. I wouldn't trust that woman to babysit my cat when I'm out of town. My dog, my hamster. She's just so far out there, man. And she's just real evil and nasty and just... Oh. I would say don't even get me started, but I'm already started. You know. Who is Weird Science? Yeah, man. Chris, you're just joining. We did core earlier, we did legs, and we did back. It's a gym stream, G. The good people were here with me, and they were getting it in. 4 equals here for the chat. Oh. Gotcha. That's what Chat Tard said. He said, I'm here for the chat. That's why they call him Chat Tard. That's why. That's right. It's a gym stream, cuz. Lupin was here earlier. Yep. Lupin was here. Terry was here. And so was Ethan Hawke, weren't they? A lot of the good people showed up. This guy named Hudson, he's a newcomer. He was here. Welcome. What was his stream name? Something about baseball. But he was here. Shout out to the good First time guests. I just saw it. Where'd it go? Georgia, Florida's here. Yeah, man. On the strength. Not the strength. The strength. Something about baseball. Oh, yeah. Tar Baby Yoda said I got him saying, oh, yeah. Real talk. And we got DJ on Paul. The good sir. The good gentleman. Oh, DJ on Paul had asked, is that a kendo stick? It's a sword. Let's see. Standard. I got to make sure all the good people. Yeah, it was baseball. Thank you, Mr. Baseball. I got to make sure all the good people are moderators. And we established earlier, even if you're one of the bad people, you might be a moderator. That's the proof. We shouldn't discriminate. Chattar's funny. Chris, I thought you AFK driving. What is AFK? No moderator is good, Greggatron. You know what I mean. When I say shout out to all the good people, you guys know what that means. It means all the decent folk out there who are trying to do better. And then I'll say shout out to all the bad people. Those are the people who, need guidance. They need help. Which is everybody, really. I sent a super chat weeks ago. It was like, shout out to all the good people. Shout out to all the bad people. Shout out to all the godly people. Shout out to the decent people and the indecent people and the evil people and the fat people and the skinny people and the tall people and the short people. Something like that. And then at the end I said, shout out to Airbody. Air. A-I-R. It was funny. I keep it animated with the super chats. Yeah, are you fit or fat? I sent one the week before last week. It was like, Jesse, how you gonna make... No, not that one. About Black Friday. I said, Jesse, you always getting black women's names wrong. You call Jasmine Crockett Jasmine Cricket. You call Beyonce Beyonce. You call Ayanna Presley Ariana. You call Michelle Obama Big Mama. And you call Kamala Harris Camilla. Where's your love for the sisters, Jesse? And Jesse's like, I love the sisters. And starting tomorrow, Friday will be Black Friday. I'm like, oh man. Then it was Black Friday the next week, and I said, Jesse, you ain't right. How you gonna make Black Friday? How you gonna make Friday Black Friday? How do you know if the collar's black or not? Because you say I'll take the black collars first. I'm like, how you gonna know if they're black or not? He said, because the screener asks them. But how you gonna call up into a radio show and the screener says, are you black? What? That doesn't make any sense. So that means if I'm black, I get to go first. That's called black privilege, guys. Black privilege. DJ on Paul says, shout out to the dudes with Tourette syndrome. Yeah. Shout out to that would go with all. No, that would go with everybody. Shout out to everybody. Because I'm sure there's some people with Tourette's who are quote unquote good people. He called her Caitlin. I don't hear Hake talk about Caitlin Clark anymore. After she caved in to the mob. But prior to her caving in, that was his girl. He talked about Caitlin Clark every week. Nope, not anymore. Yeah. Hake has different crushes, quote unquote, over the years. And when I say crushes, I don't really mean crushes. He fancies different women over the years. Recently, it was Caitlin Clark. But before her, it was like Ellen DeGeneres. Who's the other one? He used to talk about do some Bible thumping. Bible Thumper Thursday. A knee, a knee, a knee. On our neck, on our neck, on our neck. Why George gone? Why George? Why God? Why ah? Something like that. I feel excited. It's a disgrace. And I read the Bible from cover to cover. You will return from that as an atheist. This church says a black vote for Trump is mental illness. It's a disgrace. Who shall ever therefore? You want him to preach? Well, there's a verse. You want him to preach? Go ahead and preach. I'll go back to Washington. Oh, yes, I will. I'm a Southern Baptist. They don't believe in tongues. But God said it. I want it. That's Bible Thumping Thursday. What a mess. I like the one with the little baby. You know, the little pastor baby. And he was on this little talk show, and she said, not the baby was a boy, but the host said, this little boy went viral when he was recording praying over his toys in the bathtub. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whoever believes in him will not perish, but shall live and have everlasting life. Yeah, yeah. the baby said, ah! And then the crowd went wild. I was like, what? And this kid's like 2 or 3. This man has on a suit and tie. He's a Bible thumping baby. He's so cute. I'm like, what? What is this? He said, yes, yes. That was probably my favorite one. That one and from the Lord, I got what I wanted. From the Lord, I'll go back to Washington. Oh, yes, I will. I'm a Southern Baptist. They don't believe in tongues. But God said it. I want it. That's what he was doing. He was baptizing his toys in the bathtub. Yeah, that stuff is funny. Those are the best skits, the Bible Thumping Thursday. What's going on? Be seated. What's going on? There's a Southern Baptist from a Baptist church. He came here. He wants the Holy Ghost. Yeah. It doesn't even feel like church anymore. It sounds like Jerry Springer. What about Uncle Ruckus? What about Uncle Ruckus? Ruckus, I just don't understand how you can love white people so much. Well, it's easy, Robert. Just look at him. The white man smells like lemon juice. I've been cleaning toilets for 20 years. And the white man shit just doesn't smell as bad as dark African shit. Every day, my skin just keeps getting blacker and darker and blacker and darker. It's the opposite of what Michael Jackson's got. Lucky bastard. Why you think all the greatest fighters have been white? Chuck Norris? Walker Texas Ranger? Now that's a karate man. Everybody knows Negroes can't play basketball. Why you think all the greatest basketball players have been white? Larry Boyd, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash. They're talking about the boxing episode. He said, whoa, what you gonna do? Bring Ali out your ass? If he's so brave, why didn't he go to Vietnam? I'll tell you why. Because he's afraid. Something like that. He said, he was talking to Martin Luther King Jr. He's like, now why did you have to come back and upset the natural order? I was happy at the back of the bus. He was talking stuff to MLK, and then he said, turn the other cheek. I'm hungry. Because he wanted some food. Yeah, because Robert said, well, Dr. King, he's coming over for dinner. And then Robert said, well, turn the other cheek. I'm hungry. That stuff was stupid. Oh my gosh. Ruckus was a trip. Yeah, that's what he said. Because he's scared, that's why. Remember the one when they had a flashback? I think it was the MLK episode. They had a flashback where there was a trial, and I guess Ruckus was on the jury. And he said, I can't say it on YouTube, but he said, guilty. That is guilty. Hang that now. I got the rope right here. And everybody in the jury was like, that stuff was stupid. Yeah, because the guy who was on trial was blind. And Ruckus said he tried to say because he was blind. He tried to use that, oh, I'm blind, as an excuse. But he had another thing coming. He said, I got the rope right here. Yeah, that's what he said. Yep. What about the one with the lemonade stand? The Block is Hot was the name of that episode. And Riley had the fire extinguisher going. And Ruckus said, turn that water off, boy. Turn off the white man's water. And then they were playing music. And he said, turn off that African Congo Jungle noise. And then he started shooting Ruckus with the water. Well, then the cops get called. Oh, thank God, officer. Gun! It's okay, officer. I got my spare ID in here, right next to my Blockbuster card. Gun! And then after the lawsuit, he's like, it's okay, officer. You'll get me next time. That stuff is stupid. Yeah. So Ruckus was the quote-unquote exorcist for Tom. He said, you must strike fear into the heart. He said, a noose, a branding iron, A job application. Oh, there's powerful at work here. Read! He said, everybody just take something. Just grab anything and repeat after me. Get your out of here. And then Granddad said, get your black out of here. And Huey said, this is not an exorcism. It's a beating. And at that time, I didn't even know who Ghostface Killer was. Yeah, Huey said, Ghostface Killer isn't even dead. And then Ghostface said, then what the do I look like to you? Anyway, think about it. Peace. Wait a minute. Wait. Peace. 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 Ruckus. You don't like black people, right? Stinkmeter. You don't like black people, right? Well, I hate all people, but... Then they found some common ground. The people don't understand how brilliant the Boondocks is. The Boondocks is brilliant. They really brought people together with that stuff. In the same way Chappelle's Show brought people together. And we were talking about cancel culture earlier. Prior to cancel culture, we were able to have the Boondocks and Chappelle's Show and Bernie Mac and Chris Rock and different things. And it was fun. And black people and white people love that stuff. Well, I feel like the woke culture, the cancel culture, the kiss up culture, they ruined it for both sides, whites and blacks. So now black comedians can't even talk about black folks. Because even if McCruger came out with the Boondocks today, they would probably just get canceled. They'd say, oh, this is horrible. You shouldn't be on TV saying this. But it's comedy. It's funny. But you can't even... It's just sad now. Because I was a kid watching Chappelle's Show, and I was a teenager watching the Boondocks. And my friends, my white friends and black friends, we love that stuff. We love Chappelle to this day. Well, then fast forward, when Chappelle got on Netflix, people were saying, this is horrible. You shouldn't be talking about these transgender people. But Chappelle's like, why not? I talk about everybody. And then all hell broke loose. It's just not the same, man. Prior to wokeness, when do you remember black people being upset over Dave Chappelle? Or white people? It wasn't until the transgender community got upset. But I'm like, this man's been talking about people since the late 90s, early 2000s. This man was in The Nutty Professor talking stuff about Sherman Klump being fat. And I don't remember fat people back then saying, oh, this is so horrible. He's fat shaming. He's talking bad about Sherman Klump. He's saying fat people are bad people. No one was saying anything like that back then because Nutty Professor was a comedy. It was great. It was funny. It's actually a classic. Everybody loved Eddie Murphy back then, and they still do. And it was just good, fun, clean humor. And my parents used to watch The Nutty Professor with us. And there was some language, but no one cared about that. And that was actually the first time I saw Dave Chappelle was on Nutty Professor. I didn't even know he was Dave Chappelle at that time. And then fast forward, when I started watching Dave Chappelle, I didn't even know that was the same person. I was like, what? That's the same dude from Nutty Professor? No way. My point is, everybody had a good time with it. And then fast forward, before you tried to cancel him, they tried to cancel him in a different way. They tried to cancel him through Comedy Central because they tried to write skits for him and take his creative control. And he was like, no, I'm not selling my show to you guys. This is my baby. This is my project. And when that happened, they tried to call him crazy and all these things. So he left, came back to the country later. But they tried to First of all, let me tell you something about Dave Chappelle. Comedy Central didn't even trust Dave Chappelle enough to carry his own show. They thought it was going to be a flop. That show was supposed to be a disaster. But once they found out how popular it was and how much people like me as a kid liked it, once the DVD started selling, they're like, oh, snap. We can really make a profit off of Chappelle's show because it was on their network, Comedy Central. And you guys might not know this, but Chappelle's show, the DVD, was the most sold DVD as far as TV shows goes. It's the most it's the most sold DVD in history as far as TV shows goes. Kind of like how Elvis sold the most records as far as music goes, Elvis and Michael Jackson or whoever else. Well, Chappelle sold the most DVDs as far as TV shows. Fun fact. So once Comedy Central found out how special this man was, they're like, oh, we need to get our hands in the cookie jar. Wait a minute, you guys didn't even trust my show would succeed. Now you want a bigger chunk? So Comedy Central got greedy. And then they said, well, we're going to make our own skits. We want you to perform them. But Dave's like, but these skits are not in my image. This is not stuff I would normally write. I don't like this. And that's pretty much the first time he got canceled. He didn't get canceled. He walked away. Because they offered him, what was it, like 500, was it 50 million? I think they offered him 50 million, not 500 million. I want to say it was $50 million Comedy Central offered him, and he's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth losing my soul. What up, Jamie? You're back. Yeah. They wanted to cross-dress. I call them double-crossers. Yeah, it was 50 million. Yep. But he's like, I'm not sacrificing my soul for money. He was already rich. And I really respect Dave Chappelle that much more because of that, because fast forward from that, he got more rich thanks to Netflix. Because back when Comedy Central was on, that was like the HBO era. We didn't have Netflix yet. But he waited patiently and he did the right thing. And he stood up to the mob. And in return, God gave him the Netflix specials. Well, after he blew up on Netflix, because people younger than me, they didn't know Dave Chappelle. Well, the younger people, if you're 20 years old and younger, you would have learned about Dave Chappelle through Netflix. Well, when that happened, when they found out, oh, you can make a lot of money on Netflix, Chris Rock got on Netflix. A lot of people got on Netflix after Dave Chappelle got a special on Netflix. Mike Epps is on Netflix. Cat Williams is on Netflix. And a lot of these guys used to be on, you know, those HBO specials or Comedy Central specials. So I think Dave Chappelle is a trendsetter in the sense that he did the right thing. And God was good to him. And after he was taken care of with Netflix, you can go on Netflix right now under comedy. There's dozens of comedians on Netflix specials because it benefits them because they're getting paid, but it also benefits Netflix because these comedians are bringing in more views, therefore more memberships, more subscriptions. So it benefits both sides to be on Netflix. So that's why I'm glad Dave Chappelle didn't sell his soul. Because if he wanted to, he could always... well, he probably couldn't make Chappelle's show today because it would just get canceled. But you had Taj.0, which wasn't all that funny in my opinion. And then Key and Peele, they weren't that funny. They were okay. But you had these different guys, Taj.0, Key and Peele, and others. They were trying to like recreate Chappelle's show. It just wasn't very funny. Like, there can only be one Dave Chappelle. And he is my favorite comedian to this day. And it's not because of the walking away and the cancel culture stuff. It had nothing to do with that. He was already my favorite from the George Bush days. Killing Him Softly. That and what was the other one called? Kill Him Softly. I got a terrible memory. But he had two of them. One was from '02 and one was from '04. And I got the DVD. For What It's Worth, that's what it's called. For What It's Worth and Killing Him Softly. Yeah, man. We got Tar Baby Yoda in the chat. He's a liberal, but he's still funny as hell. I think Dave Chappelle, he might be a liberal, but I think he understands where we're coming from. Because he's the dude who said the first time Trump got in, let's give this guy a chance. I remember Dave made a comment on one special. He's like, I wish Clinton would run again. He said, I wish Bill Clinton could run again. You guys remember Clinton? And people started clapping. But back then you could talk about that type of stuff. And it was fun. I think this was during Bush. Like Bush was on his way out or whatever. And Dave's like, I wish Clinton could run again. Y'all remember Clinton? Oh, man. But now, thanks to social media, everything is so toxic that... No, not Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. No respect for the cowards who pander, Yoda says. Yeah, you remember that, Jamie? But, social media made things so toxic now, especially with the Trump derangement. Comedians who normally talk about that type of stuff can't even talk about that type of stuff. Like Lewis Black. All he used to talk about was politics, but he made politics fun. He made it funny. But after Trump, it wasn't funny anymore. Because it was just different. Let me tell you something about cancel culture. This messed people up. Prior to Obama being in office, Lewis Black, look at Lewis Black if you don't know who he is. Prior to Obama, Lewis Black would talk about Bush and Clinton, all of them. He talked stuff about everybody. And it was fun. We loved it. Republicans loved it. Democrats. It didn't matter. That was his thing. He would talk about the politicians, lobbyists, congressmen, governors, policies, you name it. Lewis Black talked about all that stuff. And I found out about him through Comedy Central. Well, then Obama got in office, and I remember his specials being more stale, more flat. They weren't as explosive. I'm like, huh. Well, after Obama left office, I went to see Lewis Black live, and he was talking about Trump. How this guy was giving everything, and he said basically a monkey could have done what Trump did. If a monkey was given the same amount of money Trump was given from his dad, which is not true. Well, someone in the crowd said, make some Obama jokes or talk about Obama. And he's like, he's not the effing president anymore. So his standard changed because Lewis Black used to talk about Clinton when he was no longer in office, but he didn't want to talk about Obama specifically because he understood that if he did, he would have got canceled for making jokes about the first black president. Because during Obama, that's how that was. If you were a rapper and you talked bad about Obama, that's what Lupe Fiasco did. He got canceled. And this is before cancel culture, by the way. He got canceled. But if you were on any right-leaning news and you talked bad about Obama, they would also ridicule you. So I remember like the Bill O'Reilly type of people. Some of them they didn't even want to talk bad about Obama because they knew you can't talk bad about the first black president. So a standard was set when Obama was in to where it was like off limits to criticize this man because the people who were Obama fanatics, they would turn around and call you a racist if you criticized him. But a lot of the criticisms had nothing to do with him being black. It was about his policies. But this is before it was called being woke. Those people, motorcycles are out. Those people made Obama so important to where they worshipped him and they would call you a racist if you didn't like him. But a lot of the hate had nothing to do with him being black. Well, then fast forward when Trump got in there, all of that was out the window. They were talking mad stuff about Trump. So that's why I say it's just not fun anymore because on one hand, you won't talk anything about this guy, but you'll talk the most stuff about this guy. So it wasn't fair anymore. But prior to Obama, you had Bush and Clinton. There was no off limits when it came to talking about them. But Obama, there was an 8-year gap where you couldn't talk anything about him, yet there was a vacuum. And then when Trump got in, that vacuum was, I guess you can say, met with, how do I want to say this? When Obama got in, when Obama left, all the criticisms went straight to Trump that people wanted to say about Obama, but they knew they couldn't because they get canceled. Well, now you get something called cancel culture. Terrible stuff. Right. DJ on Paul, nice. It's crazy. Trump has helped those ungrateful. Yoda, keep it clean. Okay, so my phone just told me I got 15% battery. All right. Any last words? I'm surprised when y'all are here for this long, to be honest. Me personally, I wouldn't want to hear myself talk for this long, but I mean, you say you're here for the chat, but I couldn't imagine listening to me for 3 hours. Me personally, but that's what makes you guys cool people. You don't mind. Oh. All right. Yeah, you're here for the chat. That's what's up. You're our boy, Tar Baby Yoda says. How about we do this? I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to upload my sword video. And then we'll talk in the comments section on there. I'd rather listen to Greggatron than the fake mainstream media. Yeah, that's the truth. Do y'all know Lupe Fiasco, the rapper? His label actually dropped him for the song Words I Never Said on his third album. His third album, they wanted it to be more catchy, more jingly. Well, one of the songs on there was not so catchy, not so full of jingles. It was some real talk. He's basically saying, he said, that's why he said Gaza Strip was getting bombed. Obama didn't say shit. That's why I ain't vote for him. The next one either. I'm a part of the problem. The problem is I'm peaceful. And I believe in the people. When he said that, he was later on the news on Bill O'Reilly's show. And even Bill O'Reilly's like, you can't talk about the president like that. He's not this and that. Lupe basically said Obama was a terrorist because he's the president. He's a terrorist in the sense that he's instilling terror. He's making people afraid. That's what Lupe was trying to say. Well, the media took it all wrong. You can't say that. He's not a terrorist. He's a good guy. Well, anyway, his label got a hold of that, and his label dropped him for saying that. Well, fast forward when Trump gets in, all these rappers, Snoop Dogg, all these people are talking bad about Trump. I'm like, so where's the cancel culture on Trump? There was none because everybody was talking mad stuff about the guy. But Obama was the only politician who was off limits. I remember that specifically because when Lupe Fiasco dropped his fourth album, I didn't hear about it. I was like, Lupe had a fourth album? I heard about the fifth album. I was like, wait, I didn't even know he had a fourth album. Oh, he was canceled. His label dropped him. Oh, he's independent now because he was talking about Obama. That's a fact. So that's why you get Kendrick Lamar, who he's the big guy now. But it was supposed to be Lupe Fiasco until he started talking that stuff. His own label dropped him for speaking up, which is the weirdest thing to me. Yeah, if you don't know who Lupe Fiasco is, look him up. His first two albums were classics. His third album got him in trouble. And every album after that was pretty much either independent or kind of underground. No more radio play for Lupe Fiasco. And that's the beginning of cancel culture that I've seen. That and when Dave Chappelle got himself in trouble for talking about people. But that was until fast forward. That was until like 2018, 2019. And then you couldn't talk about the COVID stuff either. Notice, I didn't make any videos during COVID-19 because people were getting canceled left and right. And I didn't make any videos during Georgia, Florida either. Or the election. Because mugs were getting taken off of YouTube when that happened. But yeah. It's been 3 hours. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Alright? It's Greggatron. And peace.